We get introduced to Jeeta. He is a carefree man. He receives a call. After, he beats up a lot of people. We see Charan, who is blind temporarily until his fix. Charan Singh is actually enemies with Jagdir Singh, which is Jeeta's dad. As Jeeta continues to fight, an inspector fires a bullet in the air. We find out that Jeeta is fighting the men of Charan, which is his dad's enemy. The inspector suggests to end their issues and be friends, otherwise they will be arrested. They agree, and Jagdir says now Charan's daughter Roop will marry his son Jeeta. The problem is Roop loves the inspector. Once they fix this marriage, the inspector is shocked. Jagdir doesn't know Charan can't see now. Roop is angry at her boyfriend on why he told them to fix their issues, because of the marriage that got fixed between Jeeta and Roop. He says that he didn't know fixing their issues would result into this. Jeeta is about to leave his house and shift to a different city. His dad asks him where he is going. He explains that he wants to work hard and move out rather than marrying Roop. His dad, Jagdir, says fine, but asks where he will live. Jeeta says at Bali uncle's home. Jagdir says if he goes to Uncle Bali's home, he would be his worst enemy. Because of how Bali got married to a dancer, half of his age. Jeeta says that he is just jealous about this, and the dad says he will give him a slap, and to now get lost. He states that Jeeta will come back to home, once he runs out of money and doesn't get job in the new city. Before leaving he tell his dad, to tell Roop to marry someone else anyway, as he will not come back for a long time, since he doesn't even know or love her. He says, Uncle Bali will be happy to see him. Later on, we see Bali yelling to Jeeta not to show his face. Turns out, he was practicing, as he is teaching drama practice. Jeeta is relieved, as he was scared at first. Uncle Bali asks how his father allowed him to come. Jeeta said he didn't, but came anyway. He explains to his uncle how his dad fixed his marriage to someone he doesn't even know or like. Bali agrees consent needs to be needed for marriage. Jeeta recognizes his aunt as Sweetie from Bulbul Orchestra Place, who is a dancer. Bali tells his wife that Jeeta will live with them for some time now. Jeeta respects his aunt by touching her feet. Uncle Bali asks him what work he will do. Jeeta says anything but drama. Bali said he will talk to his friend Sandeep. He asks what does Sandeep do. Bali states he does 2 projects. We find out that Sandeep is married to both Jasmeet and Anu. They don't know about each other. Sandeep lied to Jasmeet that he does business tours from Monday to Thursday. Sandeep arrives at Bali's home. He thinks Jeeta is a servant and asks him to open the gate. Sandeep asks about Jeeta, and finds out he is not a servant. Bali states that he is worse than his father Jagdir, and is just trouble. Bali says Sandeep must be enjoying being married to 2 people. But he disagrees, saying that lying and handling them is just a lot of trouble. Sandeep now arrives to other wife, Anu. Sandeep's sister, Preet, welcomes him. Meher Singh pays for a whole year of rent, 600 rupees. Sandeep states how he pays 50 rupees a month for his shop rent, but that is low, because a rickshaw driver charges 100 rupees for a short distance. Meher says it's not his fault. 1943 the rent his dad paid was 10 rupees, so that's 40 rupees extra leap. Sandeep states it is about time for his sister to get married, so to pay more rupees rent. Meher gets angry and leaves. Sandeep's mom states they liked a matrimonial ad in the newspaper. The phone number in the ad matches his contact of his other wife. Sandeep says there is no range, so he cannot call. His wife Anu says her phone works. She calls Jasmeet, which is his other wife. Sandeep says to give him the phone to talk about the ad. He says this so he can end the call. Anu says to meet in person and talk about the marriage. Jasmeet actually put the ad in the newspaper for her brother, and tells Anu that her husband is on tour, and will talk to him when he comes back. Anu laughs, saying her husband also just came back from tour. Bali gives an idea to show a different man to his sister, and a different woman to his brother-in-law. So that they do not actually meet each other, and make the woman and man so bad that they will reject this relation. This could work since no one has talked in person, video call, and there being no picture in the newspaper ad. Sandeep says this is the perfect idea, but needs a disgusting or bad person. Bali says he already knows a girl like this, and now to call his wife Jasmeet and brother-in-law to bungalow 4840, Sector 5. They arrive. Jasmeet and her brother ask where the girl is. Bali, while laughing, says, slaughtering the chicken. They both are shocked upon hearing this. Bali says that's not all, forget chicken, she has experience with goats. They state how they are kind of uncomfortable, after marriage, doing all this to meets. Bali says, don't worry, she will stop, instead cook the whole chicken alive. They lie saying, how they came on bus and they will be late. They show the fake Preet, she hugs Jasmeet's brother with her hands red. Fake Preet says, how she was drunk and so much so that she fed dogs to guests. They in rush, go away, leaving their home. Their plan worked for the fake Preet side, now time for the fake Jasmeet's brother. Bali says he knows a person, which is Jeeta. He talks to Jeeta saying he needs to make a bad impression. Jeeta in frustration, says he knew his dad Jagder was right and shouldn't have came to Uncle Bali. Jeeta still goes as the fake ad person, with fake parents being Bali and Sweetie. To put bad impression, for a few minutes, Jeeta acts as there is a bad ghost who follows him and comes out of nowhere named Kali Charan. Sandeep's parents get shocked and scared. Preet comes to meet them. Jeeta instantly falls in love, forgetting the plan. Saying out loud, that the chance is rare of Kali Charan coming. Jeeta deeply looks at Preet in love, to Sandeep's family, that he made up the Kali Charan, but says another lie, that they saw how rich they were, and him being middle class is why he lied. Now he fake cries, saying now they can reject or accept this relation. Preet's dad is emotional, saying finding honest and innocent man is hard nowadays. Sandeep is angry, saying what if he is lying again? But her mother says that looking at Jeeta's eyes he is saying the truth. Jeeta says if saying the truth means he's crazy then he is. Preet's dad says that he will say a truth, which is the banks has the house mortgaged, and they finance car payments. Sandeep has to hug Jeeta, because his parents tell him, while hugging he still looks at Preet. Later in the day, Sandeep comes to Bali's home, and says that Jeeta is a fraud, he didn't do the plan. Jeeta holds a laptop, saying he wants to send a Facebook friend request to Sandeep's sister, Preet. Sandeep yells and curses, but Jeeta says don't worry he will make family group with Preet and both of Sandeep's wives, blackmailing him in a way. Sandeep is tension, telling Bali he is being threatened. He said he fell in love with his sister, being love at first sight, and says he will marry her. Jeeta says to tell his sister to accept him on Facebook. Sandeep says he will not even if, that means putting a virus himself. Jeeta says better tell her to accept, otherwise she will have to accept other things, blackmailing him over his two wives. Next day, Jeeta goes to Preet's home. At their home, their family tells Jeeta why he hasn't eaten the sweets, gulab jamun. He says the love is so sweet, and he says it's okay, he can buy them outside later for 5 rupees. Sandeep says no, it's now 10 rupees price after inflation. He tells his family, that is bad he doesn't know a price of a sweet. Jeeta says that's not important, just should know the price of basic things to run a household. The parent says Jeeta is smart and said something sensible. Preet walks into room, and Sandeep tells her to move away and not talk with them or Jeeta. Jeeta states to Sandeep his lucky number is 2, which is blackmailing for his 2 wives. Anu says Sandeep never told her his lucky number. He asks for permission to take Preet to outside food place. The parents allow him. Jeeta whispers to Sandeep, now going outside they will know the gulab jamun price. He coughs. Outside, Preet says his name of Maninder is very nice. Jeeta gets a little scared, saying do you like me or my name? Preet says him, even if he is different like Maninder, Balwinder. He says, or like a Jeeta name. She says disgusting, the name sounds like a goon. Preet says anyway, do you like me? He says yes. Preet says why does the mother and him only look like some years difference? He states she is like modern doing exercises for her look. Sandeep takes Anu and his family to a show with tickets. They go to that year's Ronak Mela. The family is shocked, they see Sweetie as a dancer, Jeeta's fake mother. Sandeep did this on purpose. Jeeta finds out what happened, he offers servant bottle of liquor in exchange for wearing dress, and to sit in the worship place covering his face, pretending to be the mom. Family arrives at home, Jeeta says they came like income tax raid people, but are welcome. Family doesn't say the reason for being there, they said they will wait for the mom to stop praying. Jeeta says once she starts praying, it's for long time. Bell rings, he calls Sandeep outside, his other wife Jasmeet is outside. He gets scared, but his wife says Jeeta called them, because he fainted while working hard. Sandeep is relieved, he thought Jeeta told on him. Jeeta says he gave medicine to him. Jasmeet's brother Maninder has a date, that came from a Facebook friend request, and states they have to leave. Anu comes outside, but Jasmeet still doesn't figure out that her husband has another wife. She thinks Anu is Jeeta's wife. They leave to Maninder's date. Jeeta tells Sandeep to tell his family to leave when going in, otherwise he will have a world record of 2 divorces in a single day. Rushing, Sandeep tells his family to leave now. Maninder is on his date, and Jasmeet asks how they met on Facebook. He states that he didn't know English well and she didn't know Punjabi language well. His date tells Jasmeet he had a different profile photo on Facebook request, and once knew the lie, felt like slapping him, but Maninder convinced her by saying what if a handsome guy turns fat later, after marrying him, then she would have to live with that guy forever. Sandeep and Jeeta are at a bar, drunk. Sandeep suggests having a friendship bond, but Jeeta says no, as the upper level of that is being the relative's relation, as he will marry his sister. It turns out, Maninder's father-in-law is Meher Singh, which is the person that gives Sandeep's family rent of his shop of 600 rupees yearly. Meher asks Maninder about his work. He says captain. Meher asks of army? He says no, captain for dancing in Bhangra. Meher asks for senior, like his parents to talk to, but she tells her dad that Maninder's parents are no more. Meher asks him how this happened. He says mom was murdered, and father was sentenced, implying he killed her. Maninder tells Sandeep he loves a girl, they both smile. He tells Sandeep he is a shop owner of Bawal Puria Jewelers and Meher Singh is the father-in-law's name. Sandeep gets angry, saying he will slap him. They talk more but he doesn't agree. Maninder says okay then, there is only 2 options, first is poison, second is jumping in a lake and drowning. He gets up to go drown now. Jasmeet tells Sandeep if anything happens to her brother, their marriage will be on the line. Sandeep goes to Jeeta, telling him he is promoted to being a fake brother-in-law to break the marriage of his brother-in-law, and his name presented as Sandeep Chima to Meher. Jeeta on purpose says, there is no need for the money being handed, but we'll take it. Sandeep tells him that it's not money but the slip of address. He does agree, and Sandeep gives him a kiss on the cheek. He says it's disgusting, he wanted this from sister, but says at least they are the same bloodline family. Jeeta arrives at Meher's shop, and states that people call him Chima. Meher says don't worry, they call people a lot of nicknames in this world and not to feel bad. Jeeta says no, my name is Chima. Then Meher says obviously people will call him that. He tells him that Maninder sent him, and lies about being his brother-in-law, and says he wants to fix his marriage with his daughter, but wants to see who will actually give their girl to a dance captain. They both insult each other a lot. Jeeta gets so hurt, that he lies stating that where he is married, his brother-in-law is owner of 32 acres land. Jeeta before leaving, tells Meher that he guesses that he has refused marriage. Sandeep is happy. Jeeta explains that they insulted each other so much that there is no chance of approval. Sandeep says that he will call his brother-in-law to give fake condolences. Jeeta says he will be right back. Sandeep calls Maninder, and he tells Sandeep that he loves him so much, and his best brother-in-law, because the marriage got fixed. Jeeta comes back with the drinks. Sandeep is shocked and upset. He ends the call by just saying congrats. Sandeep is very angry at Jeeta on how the marriage got fixed, and Jeeta gets shocked because he states that he gave Meher many insults. Sandeep gives warning to Jeeta, and says he now needs to continue being fake brother-in-law as Sandeep Chima for Meher, since it is his fault, otherwise the marriage is cancelled between him and Roop. Now Jeeta lies on Sandeep's saying to Maninder and Jasmeet on how he's a wedding planner. Both ask for his name. Jeeta says his nickname is GJ, he says this due to G-Jai, and GJ are almost the same for pronouncing brother-in-law. We go forward to engagement ceremony day. Meher meets Sandeep, saying how is a freeloader and that's why he is here, not knowing that he is Sandeep Chima and not Jeeta. Jasmeet asks for her husband, she takes Sandeep. Meher gets shocked, because he believes she is Jeeta's wife. Meher gets distracted when Maninder calls him. We see there is a cameo of the Bollywood actor, Akshay Kumar, but his role in the film is of the duplicate, which is Bakshay Kumar. They called him to the engagement ceremony party to dance to the song, Sing is King, but the player guy tells him that the CD is not working. He grabs the guy by the head, and says the staff ruined his life since now the CD don't work, and before his coat was torn. He tells the guy to get a different CD, 2 minutes later it plays. He with everyone enjoys and dances to celebrate the day. Jeeta and Preet are at a mall doing shopping. Meher Singh spots them, and yells Chima Chima, to Jeeta. Meher says this is Chima to Preet. They argue back and forth, then she asks Jeeta on why he is quiet. Jeeta says we shouldn't talk to strangers. Meher is dumbfounded by hearing stranger. He goes to Maninder's home, saying to Jasmeet her husband has affair with Preet, since he believes Jeeta is Sandeep Chima. Jasmeet gets Sandeep from upstairs, and is scared that the truth will come out. To avoid this he keeps saying to talk about the matter. Meher is scared of Sandeep taking away his shop lease, so he says that maybe he had bad eyesight and rushly leaves. Now on the wedding day, Preet's mom calls Meher since they didn't get the bangles. Meher says he will deliver in the evening, but she says wedding is today. He said oh, but he didn't get an invite. Preet's mom doesn't think much of it and says invite card might have got misplaced. She tells Meher to deliver the bangles to Sandeep Palace right now. Meher arrives and gives the bangles to her. She tells him to not leave and to stay to eat some food. Jeeta spots him, and hides his face by covering it. Meher sees half of the face of Jeeta. And calls Maninder to tell Jasmeet that her husband Sandeep Chima is marrying someone and has an affair, still not knowing Jeeta is not Sandeep. They now also head to Sandeep Palace. Jeeta meets Sandeep, and asks why he sent an invite to Meher Singh, since he is trouble. Sandeep is shocked saying he threw his invite card away himself. Jeeta asks for water from servant, but the servant is doing side job. He was one of the men beaten up by Jeeta in the beginning of the movie. He calls Charan's house, stating Jagdir's son is getting married at the palace. Charan's son tells him about this. Meher says look to them. Maninder says that is GJ. Meher says correct GJ. The trick worked of the brother-in-law pronouncing. Now he says he will go crazy, since he is confused about why they are not saying anything to Jeeta. Sandeep takes a photo with his wife Anu, and spots other wife Jasmeet there. He runs away. Charan goes to Jagdir's home saying his son Jeeta is a cheat. They all go to Sandeep Palace. Jasmeet has a flashback on how Jeeta is married to Anu, which is not true, and is shocked at how he is getting married again. Jeeta spots his dad Jagdir and gets scared. Meanwhile, Meher still going crazy. Everyone is confused, and is yelling, going crazy. Jeeta tells Uncle Bali to run away fast with Sweetie, because there will be a lot of trouble. Preet asks Charan and Jagdir on who they are, since they keep saying to lift his covering. Charan says his daughter Roop marriage is fixed with him. There is big confusion now. Preet says he is Maninder, and Charan says he is Jeeta, and Maninder says he is GJ, but Meher says he is Sandeep Chima. Frustrated, Preet takes off Jeeta's hide covering off his head. Jeeta says my name is the groom. Meher keeps saying he is Sandeep Chima, then Anu and Jasmeet say that is their husband's name. A guest spots Sandeep hiding behind a speaker. Now Preet's parents are confused, since they thought Bali and Sweetie was Jeeta's parents. Meher is still going crazy in confusion. Anu says Sandeep is her husband, but Jasmeet says it's her. At this point, Meher says whoever somebody's something is to take them. Jeeta says that Jagdir is his dad, and tells his dad about him and his dad's issues since his childhood. And tells the truth, of him being in love in the new city. Roop tells her dad, that she is in love with the inspector. Sandeep's parents are angry at him, saying they are ashamed. Then Sandeep tells the truth. The day Jasmeet and he eloped, he had got an emergency call from his parents, and told him to come back in 2 hours, otherwise she will drink poison. And the call, when he arrived home to parents, his mom told him to marry Anu as Sandeep's father already agreed to marriage to Anu's father, and how he will not take his heart medicine. Sandeep's mom and dad say it's their fault. Jasmeet says it's her fault, and says sorry, and Anu says she will forgive him for listening to his parents and Jasmeet is his true love. But Preet yells saying Jeeta is a fraud and told her his name is Maninder. Meher Singh says let's forget about everything now. Jeeta says it's all her brother, Sandeep's fault. Bali says let them be happily and get married, and everyone can go to their home. Sandeep jokes which home to go to now. We end off with Jeeta saying there is nothing to be mad about, and how at least he did not have 2 wives, like her brother Sandeep. In conclusion, to hide a lie, hundreds of lies are made. Well, Sandeep got his true love Jasmeet, and had a happy ending with Jeeta getting married to Preet, and Roop telling the truth about her and the inspector, and Meher not being confused no more.